Hi guys, now many of you know what DJI and Hollyland have been up to in the microphone space, but maybe you don't know that there's another company that is starting to outshine both of them, and that is Saramonic. They actually won Best Audio Device at NAB this year down in Las Vegas with this Saramonic Ultra. I have used it a ton and it is fantastic. But old Saramonic, they don't want to rest on their laurels. They want to continue to innovate, and that is what they have done here with the Saramonic Air. This thing is crazy. It is unlike any of the other microphones that I've ever used, and it is going to hit the sweet spot for a whole lot of people, so we should talk about it. The Saramonic Air looks like it will be a very similar microphone to the DJI Mic Mini and the Hollyland Lark M2, but it actually isn't. There are some really big differences and some you might really like, so we will talk about that in a second. But first, I should say that Saramonic did reach out to me and they offered to sponsor this video so that I could show you what the Saramonic Air has to offer. So what I will do is I won't tell you to buy the microphone. That wouldn't be very cool, but I will show you its features and then I will do a head-to-head sound test of the microphone versus the Hollyland Lark M2 and the DJI Mic Mini. No audio post-processing. You can decide for yourself if the features and the sound quality are worth the price. And by the way, the price is pretty good. Now, one of the ways this is very different than the other two is if you take a look right there, the size comparison, they are pretty comparable in size. However, when I turn the Saramonic on its side, you see that little golden hole right there? That golden hole can house a lavalier wired microphone. This is the smallest transmitter that I know of that can also take a wired microphone. And what an awesome little lapel mic it is, because you can spin the clip 360 and you can also spin the head of the microphone around 360, whatever incarnation you want to be able to clip to your clothing. And here is how it plugs in. Let me see if I can show you that in camera 2. You just plug it into the hole right there, push it in nice and secure. And the thing is, it is secure. You're not just going to tug this out. This is a very strong cord and it is in very firmly. However, Saramonic says for ultimate security, you wrap the cord around twice. There are little slots on the back, and now you've taken all the strain off the cord itself, so no worries about that ever coming off. Of course, you can still just use the transmitter without the microphone, and that is probably what a lot of people will do when they're running and gunning, like the kids like to say. But I love having the option of using a subtle wired microphone under my collar, something like that. I think that is fantastic. I've been waiting for this for quite some time, but as you see from that connection, you can't just stick in any old 3.5 millimeter cable. You do need a specific wired microphone to go in there. Now, you can buy a package where two come with the Saramonic Air, but you aren't going to be able to just use whatever 3.5 millimeter lavalier microphone that you have lying around your house. Now, something else unique about this microphone is the cool charging case. Look at that. Very classy. Look at that. And it says it has 42% left there, and that means the charging case itself has 42%. The mics and the receiver are fully charged at the moment, but the charging case, 42% left. Of course, you would just plug that in USB-C if you want to charge up the case. It has the two little transmitters, of course, and the transmitters can be connected with a magnet or also the clip on the back. The transmitters have a generous mic capsule at the top that can be covered up with the included wind muffs, and it has an orange button on the side so you can mute or power off your transmitter. The receiver itself has a nice LCD screen, a button to power it on and off, a mode button to select the different modes on the receiver, and a noise canceling button, which can go from no noise canceling to mild to heavy noise canceling. Now, you have mono stereo and safety track on this device. There's no safety track on the Hollyland Lark M2. You have a limiter, you have a low cut filter, you can adjust the brightness, you can adjust the backlight. The receiver has a very cool way of connecting to your mirrorless camera or to your mobile device, and also to a Sony hot shoe adapter that you don't need any wires for if you have a Sony camera, of course. But right here on the back, this is where the magic happens. See, and you have this little clip, and the clip snaps in here, and now you can just put that into the cold shoe or the hot shoe of your camera. But if you wanted to use it for your mobile device, then you take your mobile device, little connector right there. This is the USB-C. They also sell an Apple Lightning one. You can buy extra or a package that comes with it, but I don't need that one. And so you would just put this, where's my phone? Right in. It has a ridiculously great app. It is very responsive and so many features. We'll get into the features. And this right here is the hot shoe adapter that Saramonic sells. So you just put that in right there, and now you can slide that in to the hot shoe on your Sony camera, and you don't have any wires. That's another thing that Saramonic has that DJI has as well, although I haven't been able to buy the DJI one because it's out of stock everywhere. I won't get it till Christmas, apparently, this year, and Hollyland doesn't have anything like that at all. And as I mentioned, an absolutely wonderful app where you can update your device or use any of the functions that it has. Like, look at this thing. I have my low cut 75 hertz, 150 hertz off. I have my limiter. If I do limiter, it will restart, so I'm not going to do that right now. There is my transmitter 1, my transmitter 2. I can mute them. I can EQ them. Vocal boost, high lift, low bump, off. Like, nobody else has things like this. Muting on and off, EQ on each of the transmitters, different if you want them. You can also go up and do more. Here is the strong noise canceling. Here is the weak noise canceling and off. I personally like it off. I like to do my own noise canceling in post, but it is there if you need it. And there are more settings here. If you wanted to turn the light off on the actual transmitters, you can do that. I'd like to see them on. And of course, you can update the transmitters and receiver through the app, which I have already done a couple of times. It is a seamless process. I also love that everything fits into the charging case, including the little wind muffs. I do wish they had found a way to put the 3.5 millimeter cable in here as well, because where's the DJI? The DJI can get the wind muffs in there, but also it has the 3.5 millimeter cable wrapped up there on the top, and I think that is cool because that's all I have to take. Now, this isn't bad at all. I just take this. In fact, I like to take the little Saramonic bag with me so that I can take my Sony hot shoe adapter as well as my little lapel mics that plug in. So it all fits in this neat little bag. So I don't mind that the 3.5 millimeter cable is not in there. Still, it'd be nice if there was a slot for one. But of course, all these fun features don't matter if it doesn't sound great. So let's go out in the real world and let you hear how it sounds. Right now I'm using the Saramonic Air going right into my ZV-E1. I'm using the 3.5 millimeter cable into the receiver. This is the transmitter with a little furry wind muff on top because it is a little bit breezy outside. But this is how I generally use these types of microphones. I don't use them for studio microphones. I go out and about, try to avoid people's eye contact when I am out and about. But this is what you can expect with the sound quality. Now I have the microphone reversed under my shirt, so it's much more subtle. People may wonder what the magnetic button is all about, but I'm not going to tell them. I will remain a mystery. Now I'm using the Saramonic Air going right into my ZV-E1 using the Sony hot shoe adapter. This is an additional purchase, but I think it's a good one because it doesn't cost very much, and now I don't have to use any wires with my Sony camera. Just plug it right in there to the hot shoe and it sounds really, really good. And for comparison, this is the DJI Mic Mini going straight into the ZV-E1. How does that sound compared to the Saramonic Air? Now I have the microphone reversed under my shirt, so it is more subtle. You do lose a little low end, but I think it's worth it, so it's not so obvious that you're wearing a mic. And this is the Hollyland Lark M2 going into my ZV-E1. As you can see, a very obvious, ridiculous wind muff. I don't like using it this way. I like to reverse it under the shirt, especially for the Lark M2. And now the Hollyland is much more appropriately reversed under my shirt, and this is how it sounds. Mark Bennett is as handsome as he is intelligent, which is very. Mark Bennett is as handsome as he is intelligent, which is very. Mark Bennett is as handsome as he is intelligent, which is very. So let's test out the noise canceling. I'm by my annoying air conditioner, which is plenty loud, however, keeping me alive during this heat wave, so I shouldn't complain. Let's switch to the mild noise canceling now. Now we are on the lower form of the noise canceling on the Saramonic Air. How does that sound? Is my voice still clear? Is it too digital? Let me know in the comments. Let's turn it off. Now we are back to just using the microphone with no noise canceling. Now let's turn on the strong form of noise canceling and see how that does. So now the strong version of the noise canceling has been enabled. I do like that you can do it from the receiver and not from the transmitters, because sometimes on a transmitter like the DJI or the Hollyland, you can accidentally press the noise canceling when you don't want it. Controlling it from the receiver is much better in my opinion. But how does it sound? Normally I like to do this in post. Let's turn it off again. Now it is off and we are back to the rumble in the city. When we're talking about price, I think Saramonic is one of the best values going in all of their different mics. They sound as good as anybody's microphones, and they're often a fair bit cheaper. This one will come in at $139 if you aren't getting the lapel mics. If you get the 2 lapel mics with it, then you are looking at $159, and that is still $10 cheaper than the DJI Mic Mini. Now, the Hollyland is listed somewhere around $149, but you can often get it for much cheaper. And I really do like the Hollyland. It is very popular here on the channel. And when you can get this at a really good price, then many people jump at that because the sound quality is so great and it's dead simple to use. However, with all of the bells and whistles, different features, the safety track, having all that app control, and the ability to plug in 2 wired lavalier microphones, a lot of people are going to consider this microphone, and rightfully so. I really like the options that this mic gives you, and I also love the sound quality. But of course, that is just my opinion. Let me know your opinion. Write it down below. We'll have a nice little discussion about it. Thanks for watching this. We'll talk to you again soon. Okay, bye-bye.